Howdy folks, welcome back. Today we're doing what I like to call a lazy load development. I'm merely just checking for function. So off of American Reloading, I got some of these 50 grain Frangible pulled projectiles. They're frangible, they're supposed to just kind of pop into dust rather than dent up your steel targets. So I've got some of these to test out. We're using Ramshot Exterminator, and you'll see I've already got some of these fired. I had already done this previously in my 20-inch upper to see if it would cycle and run that, and I wasn't able to get that until these last two highest charges. So I need my brass back, and I'd just like to know if this faster burning powder can run the pistol length gas system. So lazy load development, all we're doing is checking function here. So first up here we've got 18 grains. Holy crap! That's incredible. I was just shooting some standard 62 grain ball ammo, and the gas pattern was shooting way up at 1 o'clock. That means you're way over gassed. With this very below minimum charge here, I'm getting a perfect 3:30 to 4 o'clock ejection with the gas system in this gun. So that kind of sucks because my other gun won't cycle until 4 more grains into this. So I'm going to take a look at that brass, and then we're going to see if there's any kind of markings on it or anything fun like that we need to check out, and hopefully we don't get any kind of overpressure or disgusting gassy patterns as we move up. But I'm sure it's going to tear up my brass and be deflecting straight towards the camera here in the next couple charges. So I managed to find 6 of them, and look at how dirty that is. It's barely sealing and obturating the neck to the chamber, and it still looks pretty gassy in the way that it's tearing up all those case heads. So this is interesting. We're going to see what happens as we move up in charges. Let's go ahead and preemptively set this down there before I spill it and lose everything. 19 grains of Ramshot Exterminator. We don't need magnification for this. Cycles, locks back. Wow, let's check out our brass. Those 6 still have some pretty gnarly marks on our case heads, but rounded primers, so there's not really any pressure, it's just overgassed. These are starting to clean up as far as the soot from being fired, but still not a complete seal, still very dirty. You can see down in the case heads some of that gunk and carbon and fouling. So let's move it up to 20 grains, and I think this is the last group I've got. Okay, so we've got 5 more at 20 grains, and I guess I won't lie, these cases are pretty gross and ugly to begin with. I'm going to pay close attention to this one and hope I can recover it so we can see what happens with that gnarly dent. And that's what these 50 grain frangibles look like. So it's hard to tell from here, but if you're unaware, these 50 grain frangibles are not lead. It's some kind of copper alloy matrix that just kind of pops into dust upon impact. But I did a short explaining how much case capacity this takes up. It's almost way down into here. It's bigger than a 77 grain Match King. And that's because this alloy per mass is lighter. So, you know, what would be a 70 or 80 grain bullet is only 50 with this copper matrix. And 20 grains of Ramshot Exterminator. We functioned. Alright, so I was only able to recover 4 of them. I think this was that pretty ugly case there, but you see it fire formed out just fine. As long as there's no actual splits or cracks or cuts in your brass, it's pretty malleable. A lot of people are hesitant to use anything with the smallest, deflector ding on it or whatnot, but it's a lot more durable and usable than we think. But we can see this is still very dirty burning. I kind of want to try a couple heavier buffers I have to see if maybe that extra lock time allows those powders to burn before the bolt opens and releases and all that fun stuff. But there you go. I was surprised to see that our very first lowest charge, which is actually below the book's minimum, don't do that, that one functioned and worked just fine. But that's the difference between a pistol length gas system and a rifle length gas system. You get all the gas within this amount of space rather than it expanding and taking up this much space, dwell time and all that fun stuff. Anyways, I'm going to play with a couple different buffers maybe, but now I know that I have to use the charge that works in my long gun rather than the pistol here, and it's somewhat unfortunate because it's just eating the crap out of my brass. So I'm going to have to figure out how to soften that a little bit. Probably an adjustable gas block. Maybe the buffers will help. Hard to tell, but we'll see here in the future. So thanks for hanging out, folks. Go check out dummyroundreloading.com for other articles and reviews and fun stuff like that. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.